Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series Round 4. And round 3. And we are here at a beautiful Barcelona, but it's a bit underwater. The rain has come and it has really come in force. Welcome to the track, welcome to the fun, and taking a look to our virtual grandstands. First umbrella out there has to be Crazy Stunts. Jarvis53 going and saying, how's it as well? They're going and enjoying from the PokerBet VIP grandstands. Glad to have you guys here. Massive, massive welcome. Good to be back. It's been a while. Hopefully that's all have gone well. Tristan Herbs, unfortunately, not on the microphone tonight. He is actually doing something really, really awesome, and I envy the chap. He is out there on track. The Ominous Gaming Evo, Tristan Herbs out there on track, having a bit of fun. It is great to see him out there, going and contending with Alan Patterson, see who's the fastest commentator in RaceFace.Pro. And yeah, my voice is not quite as pretty as his, but I'm going to try my best. Thank you to you all. Glad to be back. Missed you all. Absolutely was frightening. I won't lie. It was very, very frightening. Well, talking about frightening, Luke Addison putting in a fantastic lap time, a 1:48.8 at the moment, with Tariq Adam in second place. Bernard Barkhazen going and sending it in third place, followed by Henry Mayer, Kieran Patterson. Dean Nokia out on track. He had a little bit of a scare as well with a query quali ban that was going to be put in. Thankfully, was proven innocent and didn't get that quali ban. So he is breathing a sigh of relief on it. Seventh place is Daniel De Villiers in the Godzilla, enjoying the rain. Giovanni Porzio out on track is in 8th place. 9th is Viertia Buerta. Fleming Bauer currently running in 10th. Kilian Rayner in 11th position. Christoph Peterson coming off the back of a very, very interesting ERA race where he actually ran away from the field, but wasn't the only Honda in it, so it had him confused. He's now enjoying the rain once again. Jason Gray returning to the track. For anyone that doesn't know old Dabby himself, Jason Gray returning, and he was racing in a team, what was it called? Retro Esports for a long time. That was racing here at RaceFace.Pro and did a lot in iRacing as well. So glad to have Jason Gray back and one of the admins for the Monday Night Racing. Ryan Barrington-Smith out on track after taking some time off to do a bit of rallying during the course of the week. So he's been having a bit of fun with the ENRC and going and showing what he can do. Kerry van Zale, Mac van der Merwe. The Mac is back and, well, looking to go on the attack in 16th. 17th is Mordrake Larsons going and powering his way through. Paul Fenter getting allowed to get back in the seat after a bit of a miserable time on track in the previous run, so he's back and ready to have a go. Bago Krobler is going to be chasing him down in 20th. 21st, Jude Neville, followed by Jean Verfiers, Arno Stradler, along with Daniel Rowe. Tristan Herbs with Werner Skuman, Tianas Buerta, Gerrit Bukers, Chris Collison. I nearly got that wrong again. Vaz Tar in 30th. 31st is Vesselwooder, Henk Pedersen, Henry Platt, Chantal Hansen out on track in 34th. Jean Mussat, Chris Biermester out on track. Good to see that the Biermester going and having a bit of fun. Dean DePries, Jean Verfiers, and Elwin Prim going and rounding out our field. So this is going to be an absolutely stacked field of racing. Christoph Peterson puts himself into 4th place, though, and really looking to give it everything he's got. If you want to keep an eye on the live timing, though, we do have Pitbull up and going like we have every time. Feel free to join up on it. Keep an eye out on all the live timing, as we do have a Merc facing the wrong direction. This is what a lot of drivers are facing during the course of this, because it is absolutely soaked on circuit. You don't want to touch the curbs. If you're going on the curbs, make sure you are putting the car straight. You don't want to be turning, otherwise you're going to have it slide out, and unfortunately Tristan Herbs, parked in the middle of nowhere, pretty much tells the story of it. Wheel off on the dirt, or wheel off into a puddle, and unfortunately it can turn the car around and turn it into a rather exciting race for the entirety of the field. So BN Champion is looking to try and make his way on the climb. But let's take a look at the championship standings, because that is where it gets a little bit interesting. Luke Addison currently at the top of the pile, with 130 points, Tariq Adam on 128 points. So 2 points difference between them. Third place, however, is Kieran Patterson, who is not on the track this evening. He's on 96 points. Giovanni Porzio is running in 4th place in the championship, getting chased down by Henry Mayer. So Henry Mayer is running in 5th on 93 points, Giovanni on 95 points. 77 points is Daniel Rowe, followed by Fleming Bauer, Gideon Reyna, Bernard Barkhuizen, Bego Krobler, rounding out the top 10 of our runners. Daniel de Villiers, however, in the Nissan GTR, is just out of the top 10. He's in 13th position, chasing him down, and he is 1 point away from Dean Nokia. So he's going to be pushing to get ahead of Dean Nokia on the running order. So this is going to be a close fight. It's going to be a very interesting one to see how the drivers do and see who's going to be able to get this climb on the way through. So definitely going to give everyone a run for their money. Werner Skuman, the top runner for the Mustangs, is now joined by a variety. Now, for anyone that does remember going back to last season, Werner Skuman was the only running Mustang here in RaceFace, and he is now joined by a variety as he does get caught up behind Biermester and will have to just wait it out at the moment. He's losing a little bit of time. He's going to rather just take it a bit more cautiously, follow on the way through, not wanting to compromise Biermester's lap though on this. So keep an eye on that. Tariq Adam currently fastest out on circuit with 0.1 on his fastest sector. Luke Addison going to be a bit nervous here as he is only ahead by 0.082. Now, we do know Luke Addison was during his stream a little bit early on in the week. I think it was early on, or was it today? No, it was yesterday that Luke Addison was going and having a bit of fun. Getting reports there, and Kieran Patterson is out on track. So big thank you to Saki Goes Bossy. He is currently going and keeping an eye out on things. Old Jaco Krobler, who is going and having a bit of fun. Also recently signed to Omnius Gaming as well. So congratulations, Jaco Krobler, on your sign to Omnius Gaming. But Kieran Patterson running 3rd in the championship, going to be charging his way to the front. And let's see if has he improved his time. Nope, 9th place is all she's got in the car at the moment. But we are keeping an eye. Take a look at the times at the top of the order. 0.012 between Tariq Adam and Luke Addison. Bernard Barkhuizen, 0.192. Henry Mayer is still in the mix there. From our 1st place all the way down to 12th are within roughly a second of one another. Doing 149.9 as the quickest, as the slowest of the bunch. The 2 fastest has to be Lucas and Tariq Adam. They did a 48.865 and a 48.877. So Lucas and Tariq still putting in the fastest lap time. Tariq's looking to usurp him though, but the field is running very close times. The slowest time on track was done by Dean DePriest with a 155. Majority of the grid is sitting in 150s in qualifying trim in the rain behind a variety of cars. If that tells you how the level of competition has gone up and up and up and up and up throughout the entire season and throughout our seasons here at the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship, this really leads it on of where we're sitting. The top of the pile, the exciting times, and all looking to get the run on the order. Kieran Patterson currently 0.1 up on his lap time, looking to jump out in 9th place, carrying a lot of pace through. They're on the GT version of Barcelona, not the motorbike version, but only able to get that 9th place. Tariq Adam is still sitting in 2nd as cars come across the line. Mordre Claessen's currently 0.1 up on his last lap time. Will it be enough, though, to jump him out of 21st? He's looking to sit within the top 15, trying his best, under braking, hooks it in, 0.2 on the way exit. This may be enough to put him into the top 15. Mordred Larson sliding out the Pandacity Infiltrate Skadoosh car as he goes and comes across the line, puts himself into 15th position. Absolutely incredible stuff here at Barcelona, and it's going to be an exciting time indeed. Lots and lots of rain, though, is going to make the race a little bit more interesting. This is a sprint race, so remember, rules apply here. 45 minutes, no need to go into the pits. Absolutely floor it to the end. It's going to be an exciting one. Couple of things that we've got to touch on, though, here at the RaceFace.Pro GT3 sprint race. It is an absolute nose-to-tail slugfest on the way through. But for those that are looking to have their bit of fun, there is something happening at the end of this month as well. RaceFace.Pro, joining up with the South African Endurance Series, will have a virtual 9 hours of Kyalami that is happening at the track. Yes, you heard me right. Virtual 9 hours of Kyalami running simultaneously with the 9 hours of Kyalami with the South African Endurance Series. You have your rig physically at the circuit racing with some phenomenal stuff. And I got word that there is huge artists that are going to be at the track as well. So definitely go and take a look at RaceFace.Pro and be a part of all the show. Take a look at our Discord for more information. That being said, well, now we move on to the exciting times. We move on to some really interesting racing because it is wet weather here at Barcelona, and many of the drivers will be going and taking a look and saying, what do we need to do to step up our game? And right here, PokerBet is going and stepping it up by adding a new dimension of racing with the rain added on. Many drivers, many of our top tier drivers, like Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, Bernard Barkes, and Henry Mayer, Christoph Peterson, Giovanni Porzio, Daniel De Villiers, Dean Nokia, Kieran Patterson, Vietia Buerta. I've spoken to them all. I said, listen, how do you feel about the weather at hand? They were excited. They're really excited. But the constant is this track lends itself to putting strain on the left-hand tires. Quite a bit in the day. You've got to be very cautious of it. Left-hand front does give. Now the concern is the puddles do sit on the left-hand side primarily around the Barcelona circuit. So that is going to be a concern for many of the drivers. They're going to be looking at it and trying to get as much information as possible during the 45 minutes to ensure that they can step it up. How close are they going to be able to close up to one another? That is the question that comes in as our drivers make their way off the circuit. So let's take a look at our running order for tonight. And for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series, and brought to you by PokerBet and our associate sponsors. It's good to have them all on board. A new sponsor actually being Extreme Service Center, so shout out to them. Right, first place, Luke Addison, followed by Tariq Adam, Bernard Barkes, and then third. Fourth place, Henry Mayer, Christoph Peterson, Giovanni Porzio, along with Daniel De Villiers. Dean Nokia, Kieran Patterson in 9th position. 10th is Vietia Buerta, followed by Fleming Bauer, Bego Krobler, Gideon Renner, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Mordred Larsens, Werner Skuman, Henko van den Berg, along with Jude Neville, Jason Gray, also known as Dabby, along with Harry van Zale, Mac van der Merwe, Paul Venter, Jean Verveers, Arno Stradler, along with Daniel Rowe, Vessel Wooder in the pits, so he's not going to be going and having a bit of fun. He's going to be starting last. Fars Tar, Tienas Buerta, Gerrit Bukers, Tristan Herbst in 30th position. First time in the rain, first time in the Audi, first time racing in the Sprint Series. Chris Collison running in 31st. 32nd, Jean Verveers, Henk Petersen, Henry Platt, Chantal Hansen, Jean Mussat, Chris Beermister, Dean DePriest, and Alwyn Prem also starting in pit lane. This is going to be a proper race, and many are going to have to keep an eye on it for those that are looking to have a bit of fun. I know that the racing last night for the iRacing, Jaco Krobler could say, was a bit of a difficult one. Conditions can change things dramatically for all our runners. So don't expect the sharp end of the field to look like this. It will change during the course of the race due to the nature of the circuit, due to the nature of the conditions, and due to the nature of our drivers looking to really step up the mark, really push themselves and go up towards the sharp end of the field. So this is going to be an exciting one. This is going to be a close race. This is going to be a monumental one for Barcelona. And we're here to have a bit of fun for round 4 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship, or GT3 Sprint Series. And we're looking to really step it up here tonight. Lots of excitement coming in. Anushka Burta going in, raising the flag, saying, "Go Martin Martians Racing." And that is for Vietia Burta, actually in the top 10 and going and standing next to Fleming Bauer. So he's actually the first of the Martin Racing cars that are looking to claw their way up. Lots of excitement builds up as they come around the final corner. It is line astern, Luke Addison, Tyreek Adam lining the top with Bernard Barkhuizen and Henry May. I do apologize. Henry May is actually first of the Martin Racing. He's lying in fourth. He's looking to get the jump. Lights will go on and lights off. We go racing with Luke Addison charging off to the sharp end of the field, trying to break away early on. The erupting roar of the engines with Tyreek Adam putting pressure on Luke Addison. Bernard Barkhuizen looking for the inside line. He couldn't quite get past. And Henry Mayer looking to get through. Oh, Tyreek Adam goes off track. And Luke Addison... Sorry, that was Tyreek Adam. They went off track. Luke Addison slowed up. And that allowed Bernard Barkhuizen to dive up on the inside. So the two had contact. The two previous teammates drive-through penalty handed out to Beermister for unfortunately getting a rough run. So Beermister gets a horrible start and now has a drive-through penalty. Luke Addison on the defense. Tyreek Adam caught off guard. Henry Mayer onto the back. Vietia Burta up into 5th. Giovanni, Dean Nokia, Jude Neville, Mordrake Claessens is trying to make up a bit of time. He's got Kieran Patterson sporting a bit of damage on the car. So the 1-2-3 car landed up with a bit of a smack early on. And let's try and see what happened. Let's go to the number 29. This was heading with Jason Gray into turn 1. And Ryan Barrington-Smith runs out wide. It's all side by side. 3 wide into turn 1. Not going to work out for a couple. And there is Christoph, Daniel De Villiers, Kieran Patterson, Bego Hrobler, Daniel Rowe, Paul Fenter, all getting absolutely caught out at the start. Kieran Patterson getting past Mordrake Claessens, now trying to drive the Mustang with a very bent nose. Has got a raging bull right behind him. Jude Neville trying to push as hard as he can on the back of Dean Nokia as he makes up a little bit of ground. Jason Gray trying to make up some ground. Ryan Barrington-Smith, Mac van der Merwe pushing as hard as he can, but there is a good couple of cars that are unfortunately going and suffering from some major impacts. Henko van der Berg going into the back of Chris Beermister, trying to slow that Mustang down as much as possible, battling out there to keep it going. Daniel De Villiers into the pits. He was one of the cars that got caught out. Christoph Peterson's going to carry on. He's getting the tow from Paul Fenter right behind him. So Paul Fenter is doing everything he can. But Kieran Patterson is the one to talk about, currently sporting a huge amount of damage. Jason Gray in a massive flight with Fleming Bauer, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Mac van der Merwe trying to hang on to the back of this train as quick as possible as Ryan Barrington-Smith looks to the inside, backs out of it. Fleming Bauer getting a little bit more defensive, trying to see where he can go and keep it all together at the moment. Going to be a rough one for them as they claw their way through. Mac van der Merwe sliding the car out, really having a difficult time out on track. And we do see that is Henk Petersen that goes off circuit and unfortunately loses quite a bit. Henry Platt looking to capitalize now as we do see Jean Verveers sporting a bit of damage on the car. He dives up, defending against Henko van der Berg right onto his tail as well. So quite a few cars going and just trying to keep it all together, and some going and having a lot of trouble. Wessel Wooder, Dean DePriest, Jean Verveers, Bego Hrobler, Daniel De Villiers, Elwin Prim, all landing up in pit lane with a lot of work to be done on their cars. Oh, Ryan Barrington-Smith sliding it into the side of Fleming Bauer. That's opened the door for Mac van der Merwe to get by. Fleming Bauer just taking a bit of caution on the rejoin, looks on the inside, tries to figure out where he can get the run, and will have to wait it out. So the rain becoming a little bit more tricky. Giovanni trying to go underneath Vietia Burta, does what he can, hooks it on the inside. Giovanni looking to try and score as many points as possible at the moment, gets ahead of Vietia Burta. Dean Nokia coming at him. Giovanni defending the inside line. Viertier going to go around the outside. And Dean going to put his nose in the middle. 3 wide. Very dangerous move here. But he is going to try and make it stick. Sweeps across. Viertier backs out of the fight. Does not want to get caught out. Dean Nokia gets past the likes of Giovanni. Carries on the momentum. Jude Neville hooking it onto the curb and battling it out. So Dean Nokia capitalizing on a little bit of a reshuffle. Maybe a bit of discussions had between the two. And now Giovanni having to claw his way back into the fray of things. So not going to be an easy fight for him. He's going to have to be very careful as Viertier now looking to go right back onto the attack. And you're having to switch the focus from your rearview mirrors to your front windscreen. And Giovanni gets a run on Dean Nokia. Looks on the inside. Couldn't quite get it sorted out. Dean coming across in those. Gently moving. Making sure that he's not backing down from the fight. He's going to carry on the moment and carry on the drive as he accelerates, doing everything he can to claw his way through. Viertier getting sucked into a fight with Jude Neville right behind him, and Kieran Patterson closing up the gap as well. But behind, Mac van der Merwe and Ryan Barrington-Smith going to go side by side. Fleming Bauer going to join the likes of Ryan Barrington-Smith. He looks to go on the inside. Mac van der Merwe unfortunately closed the door, gets turned round. Werner Skuman takes evasive maneuvers. Mac van der Merwe having to spin the car around and try and rejoin into the fight. So definitely not the way he wanted, but that has helped Chris Collison at the moment. And Chris, for Stinger Racing, all the way out from the UK, and a shout out to Stinger Racing. Good to see you guys back once again, and really looking to put the Sting in for the top 20 as they fight it out. Daniel Rowe in the chase with Werner Skuman. These two have known a proper fight between one another once before. They're looking to reignite it once again. Werner Skuman defending the inside line. Middle of the circuit though. He's going to switch to the outside. Hit the brakes, turn it in. Daniel Rowe second guessing. He's keeping just out of the spray. He's going to try and pull a little bit of a slingshot effect out of turn 2, heading towards turn 3 as Werner Skuman closes up on Faztar, just running a little bit fraction ahead. Back up to the sharp end of the field, Luke Addison having a bit of a tough time as Bernard Barkhuizen from the KSR factory team putting in the fight behind him, and Tariq Adam trying to close up that gap as well, not having an easy time out there. Bernard really trying to go late on the anchors and really throw the McLaren out over the curb. Interesting enough though, you can do 2 ways to get around on the curb. One of it is coming out of the corner is you put the car and run the curb over the middle of the car to ensure it gets sorted out. But there is contact between the 10 and 4, and that's Mordre Claessen's going and having a bit of a problem with the number 4 car of Fleming Bauer. So what happened to it? Mordre Claessen's behind Kieran Patterson, contact. He gets turned round, Ryan Barrington-Smith. And unfortunately, there's a contact trying to move off a racing line. Fleming Bauer getting caught out, and unfortunately lands up with a bit of damage on the nose of his car. Well, the likes of the running for Mordre Claessen's is a bit of repair work needing to be done. Luke Addison pulling away from Bernard Barkhuizen. Tariq Adam doing everything he can to keep it all together. Henry Mayer running in 4th place is closing up the gap as well. So don't count him out of the mixes yet as they start carving through the back markers, and it is going to be a proper run all the way through, and many drivers are taking it to heart and saying this is a tough race. Even Reginald, our local streamer, and well, I would say one of our professional sim racers, going and saying this is a tough race to be in, with the circuit and the conditions not being the most favorable out there. So Bernard Barkhuizen trying to close up on Luke Addison, can't get it sorted out. Tariq Adam getting a loss of time there, and that's allowed Henry Mayer to get into our top 4, still within a second of one another, each running 149s as their race pace at the moment, and it is a absolute monster time to be going. Daniel De Villiers in the Godzilla ahead of him, the Nissan GTR GT3, that twin turbo absolute behemoth, is going to be keeping a very close eye on the mirrors and understanding that this train is going to come past him at a rate of knots. He opens up the door for one. Expect it to be a 4-car train coming through. That's going to make it difficult for Luke Addison. He wants to try and get past as quick as possible and see if he can slam that door shut on Bernard Barkhuizen. And Tariq Adam and Bernard Barkhuizen are looking not to be boxed in at the moment, as they are playing piggy in the middle. For the person that's going to have the advantage here, actually goes to Henry Mayer. He's got a little bit more sight at the back and will be able to gauge whether the cars are moving around, whether it's going to be a difficult time for him or whether he needs to just wait it out. So this is going to be a proper chase for the drivers, seeing how it's going to go. And we do have another car off, and Henko van der Berg getting past Christoph Peterson, who's actually won the car Strucken on the side. Daniel Rowe getting ahead of Werner Skuman. Looks like the two of them had to come to blows as well. So there is contact happening, yellow flags up and down through the track, but many drivers still looking to battle it out in tonight's race. And right here around Barcelona, 35 minutes of the race left. We're only 9 minutes into the race, and so much has happened in the start of this race. It's been absolutely mad. It's been crazy. It has been exciting. Tyreek Adam all over the back of Bernard Barkhuizen, though, trying to hunt for a way to get past both McLarens. So there's no advantage in terms of what car choices come into it, but it's setup, it's driving skill. Who's going to be better at the rain? How much are you willing to take? What are the risks you're willing to take at the moment, as the likes of Bernard Barkhuizen sliding the car in the entry. So he's carrying a lot of momentum into the corner, but he's scrubbing it mid-corner on the way through. Tyreek Adam, though, is going for the lunge, dives up on the inside. Oh, contact between the two. Tyreek going and putting these elbows out there, and Henry Mayer, as I said, keep an eye on him. He could see exactly where the cars went, took the advantage, got past Bernard Barkhuizen, and slides his way through. So he's going to try and make up that little bit of time. Now it's just gathering himself after that pass, now looking to concentrate forward, not backwards in the race. A little bit further back, though, Dean Norkier battling out with Giovanni, who goes a little bit late on the braking. Vietia Buerte immediately trying to close up that gap, along with Jude Neville in likes of 8th position. So our running orders are starting to get a little bit more open now, and drivers are starting to find their groove. Kieran Patterson lying in 9th. Jason Gray with a Mustang that is fixed, so he's got the straight line speed up against Kieran Patterson. And Jason Gray was one of our top pro drivers of old, going and reliving a battle of old between himself and Kieran Patterson. These two know each other very well. They know the driving styles very well. Now they both know what cars they're in, so it's understanding the dynamics that are happening out on track. Who's going to be able to get ahead? Who's going to be able to go and try and figure out what's going to work here? The front engine Mustang, absolutely fantastic over the curbs in the conditions that it is. You want to avoid the curbs. It is an absolute dog in the wet. And Kieran Patterson, with that damage, definitely feeling it, comes right across the nose of Jason Gray to defend the line. Jason doing everything he can to just hang on. And Kieran looking to score as many points as possible. Got caught out at the start and now looks to try and bring it all the way back. Another little fight happening. Werner Skuman and Daniel Rowe. But Faz Tar and Arno Schroller are absolutely at each other's throats. Faz Tar, the Project Vapor driver, doing everything he can. Chris Collison closing up and braking. And Mac van der Merwe, who is in for the mix as well, trying to make this a 4-car train, and does so. So we have got multiple trains building up on one another, and it is going to be exciting because it does look like Tienes Puerta and Paul Fenter comes carving his way through, takes the dive. Tienes Puerta not going to fight that one out and says, listen, take it through. I watched the Watkins Glen last night. I know what happens when a car gets broken, but I'm going to keep it all together on circuit. So Tienes Puerta, one of our pro drivers out there, having a ton of fun, but unfortunately losing out the position to the likes of Paul Fenter. Jump over the curb for Arno as he tries to keep it all in check. Fars now having a little bit more speed, gets out of the corner, gets a run, and he's going to be easy. Jason Gray and Kieran Patterson side by side. Jason Gray straight lining Kieran, and was able to do that, but runs out a little bit wide, defends that apex though. Kieran's going to go around the outside, hooks it in, master class, but Jason Gray immediately shoves his nose back in. It is a 2-horse race here between Jason Gray and Kieran Patterson, and while they're doing that, that is helping Ryan Barrington-Smith in the Aston Martin to close up the gap. Kieran runs out wide, And Jason Gray gets it hooked in. Kieran trying to battle it back on the dirt. Slows it down, just bringing it back on the anchors. That is absolutely a difficult time. He's able to carry the momentum, but now Ryan Barrington-Smith in the Aston Martin, who's used to some rough conditions, is looking to try and put his nose into the fray and sees a wounded Kieran Patterson at the moment to try and go for a bit of a lunge at the sharp end of the field. So this is going to be for that top 10. And to score some top 10 points, Ryan Barrington-Smith needs to get past Kieran and do everything he can to make it stick. So a proper fight on the way through. Well, with that being said, we've got Luke Addison and Tariq Adam once again together, and it does look like De Villiers, who's actually hasn't been passed as yet, has got himself into a little bit of a fight with the likes of Bago Krobler. So this is going to be a proper run for De Villiers. He looks on the inside. Bago Krobler goes defensive, tries to hold it. Oh, contact between the Hybrid Racing and the PWSR. Both go off circuit, both going to rejoin. And here comes our leaders, who have now closed up the gap at a rate of knots. But have they come into a little bit of a tough situation with Tariq Adam right on the back of Luke Addison? Can go and try and box him in. He looks for the inside, second-guessed it, not going to go for the pass just as yet, going to wait it out. De Villiers, on the other hand, is going to get the blue flag, but he doesn't want to back down from Bago Krobler. It's kind of a win-lose situation. Do you let the leaders go? And it looks like De Villiers going and using his bit of a head here and saying, listen, I'm going to let them go and let them pull me along to Bago Krobler ahead. So interesting enough, but unfortunately for Tariq Adam, it's not enough to get past Luke Addison. A little bit further down, Mac van der Merwe all over the back of Australia. They've been fighting it out. Paul Fenter trying to make up a little bit of a climb. He had a bit of contact. The number 42 had a bit of a knock. So let's take a look. Mac van der Merwe on the right-hand side. Paul Fenter trying to go and dive around. Tianis Buerta on the back of him. Chris just ahead. Along with that would be Arno Stradler. Side by side, Mac van der Merwe. Oh, contact between Paul Fenter, Mac van der Merwe. Arno doing everything he can to just try and take evasive action there. Unfortunately, got a bit of a side on. Back to a fight. Kieran Patterson on the brakes against the Aston Martin. Ryan Barrington-Smith up on the inside. Goes for the overtake. Goes for the undercut. And Kieran trying to come back at him. Unfortunately, sliding his way around. Not able to get the power down. And not working in his favor on the way through. So definitely some difficult racing between them. But Ryan not backing down from the fight. A little bit further down, Paul Fenter, Mordre Claessens making his way past Tianis Buerta. And remember, Mordre Claessens was also part of an earlier contact. So he's trying to make up a lot of time from where the incident first happened. But those that have made up a bit of a climb, Vessel Wooder, who has actually made up, he went and landed up for the Chromodulus Racing, coming out of the pits into a whole heap of carnage and deciding, listen, now I'm going to keep this up and going and see where we're going to go. So let's take a look at our gains and losses at the moment and see who's got the biggest win here at the PokerBet table, or who has walked away with the L so far with 27 minutes of the race to go. Well, let's take a look. Daniel Rowe up 13 positions. Fars Tar up 13 positions. The biggest winner of it, though, has to go to Chris Collison. Chris Collison up 16 positions. Started in 31st. He's in 15th. So he's made the most amount of positions during the course of this race. The least amount of positions made up, well, the worst actually, is Daniel De Villiers. Down 27 positions on the start. He started in 7th, he's now lying in 31st. Bago Krobler down 21 position. Christoph Pedersen down 22 positions on that run. So definitely a hard time for our top running orders and our runners out on track. The conditions not working out to be too favorable at the moment for a lot of them. Bago Krobler onto the back of Dean DePriest. We haven't spoken about Dean too much. Well, Dean is out there fighting it out. Elbows out all the way with Bago Krobler up on the inside. Bago's not going to back down from the fight. Johan Bago Krobler is going to carry the momentum through and take a look at Daniel De Villiers. Puts his nose in. Dean trying to close that door. doing everything he can. Unfortunately, couldn't get it closed, runs out wide, lands in the dirt, and that has allowed Daniel de Villiers to continue the momentum onto Bago Krobler. So Dean, who did try slamming the door, tried to go and fight it out, but unfortunately, not having a good time out there, goes and loses out 2 positions into the corner, but gotta give it up for the fight. He did not back down. Bernard Barkhuizen onto the back of Henry Mayer, 2 former rivals last season. These 2 took it down to the final race and were separated by 5 points, with Bernard Barkhuizen losing out to Henry Mayer. But it looks like Chris Burmester getting caught up between them, and that has allowed Henry Mayer to get caught out, and Bernard Barkhuizen tried getting close enough. Unfortunately, not enough to make an impact, though. He was too close, and unfortunately, it didn't quite work out in his favor. So he had to back out of it, had to wait it out. Mac van der Merwe and Paul Venter, they are fighting it out. The Omnis Gaming Nitro driver against the logistical nightmare Banana Express, who is absolutely hammering it out at the moment, and will have his little manager busy going and shouting in his ear, telling him, go, 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 otherwise you're going to have to get the bottle. And that is not going to be an easy time for Paul Venter, as he's got Mordre Claessens, and Mordre is not afraid to back down. Paul Venter, quick, trying to sell a dummy. Unfortunately, he got caught out, and Mordre Claessens actually capitalized here. Mac van der Merwe ran out wide, and it was side by side, but Mac van der Merwe lost out time, and Mordre Claessens decided to put his elbows in and get in for the fight. The Pandacity driver not backing down, looking to carry a lot of momentum on the way through. After a loss at the start of the race, well, he's on a little bit of a drive back, and it looks like he's got the chip on the shoulder to go with it. Daniel Rowe and Kieran Patterson now fighting it out. Kieran going a bit backwards down after the damage, and I think that car starting to become more and more difficult to drive. More and more understeer creeping in as we see Werner Skuman sliding the car out behind them, trying to keep up, but it does look like Daniel Rowe's going to put his nose in. Second guesses it though. Daniel, a VW Motorsport driver, going and battling out against Kieran Patterson, who's gone overseas, represented South African cricket, and has done a phenomenal job going and doing that, rejoining to the circuit, much to the ecstatic run of the team and his dad, all going and rejoining and having that flame lit back underneath him of let's go racing, folks. Werner Skuman of the Pandacity Infiltrate Freedom, the first of the Mustangs last season, is now trying to make up some time and is absolutely hammering it at the moment. The team leader for the sim racing of Pandacity, going and trying to hunt down Daniel Rowe, one of the team owners of Hybrid Racing. So good to see the guys having a bit of fun out there, really on the climb. Jason Gray onto the back of Vietia Buerta. This is 9th and 8th fighting for position. And so far, Jason Gray doing a phenomenal job to slowly get that climb back up through the order and really see where he can end up here. Remember, this is his first run of the season. He has been out of the racing action in competition side for a little bit. He's rejoining into it. He has been at Monday Night Racing, so he has been keeping his toe in the water for racing. He hasn't been out of the racing action scene, but is still keeping in with competition now and hoping to really go and put up some position. Vietia Buerta keeping ahead at the moment. He has been improving throughout the races. Wet conditions best suiting him at the moment. He's a bit more comfortable with the car and is a bit more comfortable with the setups working in his favor. Well, Jason Gray going to hunt him down, looks on the inside, takes a dive. Vietia Buerta around the outside trying to find grip. Unfortunately, too wide out. That has killed off that drive. Jason Gray walks his way through, and Ryan Barrington-Smith will close up the gap. Giovanni Porzio still onto the back of Dean Norkia, and Dean hoping to carry on. At the moment, he's busy streaming, so while trying to read chat in these difficult conditions, he is streaming out his point of view, and at the moment, all that his entire crowd are watching is currently Giovanni going and filling up the mirrors, seeing where he can go and where to get by. Giovanni represented South Africa in the LFM Pro Series a while back and still active in overseas racing trying to get faster and faster out there, with Dean Nokia, who's trying to improve as well, looking to try and step up his game to after the transition from console to the world of PC racing. Has been battling with his steering wheel in terms of a mechanical problem, so force feedback being an issue there. Chris Collison going and losing out a bit of time. Faztar getting right onto the back of him, and take a look, Arno going and pushing as high as he can. Arno Stadler also trying to get a little bit more pace underneath him, slowly getting that climb back up. And Faztar has been a very defensive driver all season long, so let's see how he's going to be able to cope with it. He's going to have to pull a cool, calm Kimi Räikkönen head if he wants to make this work. Mac van der Merwe dealing with Mordre Claessens on the back of him, and Paul Venter still hunting down that inside, doing everything he can to try and make a bit of a climb. Looks up on the inside, tries, switches around the outside. Claessen's trying to walk him to the fringes. Oh! Contact between the two, and Claessen's actually backing out from the fight. A quick flash of the lights, though, just as a quick apology, I would say, looking at it. He didn't quite expect Paul Venter to still be on that left-hand side, and land up with a little bit of a knock. Did lose out the drive, and now starting to tail back on the run. So good to see a bit of a handshake between the two, going and saying, all right, sorry, my bad, gonna keep an eye on that, as Arno keeps an eye on Faztar just ahead of him, pushing as hard as he can to make up a little bit of time. Ryan Barrington-Smith losing a little bit of pace to Vietia Buerta, but Jude Neville going a little bit slower there, and then Jason Gray immediately closing up the gap and looks to get into the fray of things. So Jason Gray will try and make his way around. Looks around the outside, second guesses it, switches back to the inside. Fed a bit of a dummy to Jude Neville, who runs out wide. Jude tries to close off. Vietia Buerta does so, but Jason Gray yet up another position on the run through. So he's on an absolute charge. Kieran Patterson still holding Daniel Rowe at bay, and Werner Skuman chasing him down. So far, the top running order, though, Luke Addison at the sharp end of the field, Tariq Adam in second place, third place Henry Mayer, along with Bernard Barkhuizen chasing him down, Dean Nokia, Giovanni Porzio, Jason Gray, Jude Neville, along with Vietia Buerta. Ryan Barrington-Smith with Kieran Patterson on the back of him. Daniel Rowe trying to make up some time, Werner Skuman, Chris Collison, but we do have a bit of contact with the 722 car on the 21. Going and landing up with a bit of a problem. That is Henko van der Berg and Tianus Buerta. Tianus Buerta in the blue McLaren, the hybrid racing, has got Henko van der Berg in the Martin Racing, chasing him down, looks on the inside. Oh, contact between the two. A beautiful pirouette with, well, I would say the execution was good, but the finish needs a bit of work on there. Tianus Buerta and Henko van der Berg both was stop, go 10 seconds handed out to them by our stewards. So definitely our stewards working a bit hard in the background to ensure that the racing is all clean and fair. Bernard Barkhuizen gets past Henry Mayer, eventually sneaking on by, and Henry Mayer, a quick flash of the lights saying go get him. So they're going to pull each other along here, and landed up with a little bit of contact. It was side on though, nothing too catastrophic by the looks of it. Let's take a look. So Henry Mayer out a little bit onto the dirt, comes back. Bernard Barkhuizen looks around for the inside line, trying to carry a lot of momentum through, and under braking, small side on contact between the two. Good catch by the likes of Bernard Barkhuizen, but Henry Mayer, quick flash of light, says sorry bud, and keeps the race going. Good to see the guys still keeping a bit of support between one another, but definitely some tough time. Interesting little accident starting to build, and this is Daniel Rowe, who landed up with a bit of contact, and I think it might have been against the back of Kieran Patterson, just ever so slightly. Nope, it might have been a harder one. Turn Kieran Patterson round. Patterson catches a snap up against the side of Werner Skuman, and Patterson was facing the wrong way for the rest of the field as they were coming through, and that unfortunately I think may have led to even further drama down the field, as Patterson would have lost it. Mac van der Merwe getting it out of shape. This is Honor Strotlo, who was also a yellow flag. What happened to him? Not much, just fell off the track. Okay, so nothing too much there. not too much of a problem. Good to see her nearly into the back of Paul Fenter, but kept it all together. Number 13, though, did have an accident, and this, unfortunately, landed up between our two leaders, Tariq Adam and Luke Addison, as they landed up fighting each other, with Tariq Addison dives up on the inside, and a little bit of side-on contact between the two of them as they're pushing each other to the limit. So definitely Luke Addison and Tariq Adam not holding back on one another. Luke Addison down in position, needs to try and reclaim as a championship is extremely close. Jason Gray ahead of Jude Neville, Vietia Buerta, and Ryan Barrington-Smith as they try and make up a little bit of a drive and really trying to close up some time. Jean Mossart and the likes of Gerrit Bucas. Oh, contact between the two as Jean Mossart and Gerrit Bucas landed up going and fighting it out and landing up a bit squared into one another. That is going to be a tough time for both Tristan Herbst capitalizing on that. Gets the pass done and dusted and will look to try and open up a gap. Huge running there. Henry Mayer still finding out with Bernard Barkhuizen as we do see the lead starting to open up as Luke Addison, I think, may have pushed it a little too hard to keep ahead of Tariq Adam, and that has cost him a bit of time in this race. In the final 14 minutes of the race, Vietia Buerta dealing with Ryan Barrington-Smith. Huge dive on the inside, gets the pass done. Ryan carrying a lot of momentum through, so Vietia is going to try and keep in the toe, pull himself along, as Jude Neville is the next one to go by. But Ryan Barrington-Smith is not going to fight too hard against the likes of Jude Neville, his current teammate out in the front. Paul Fenter dealing with Honor Australia onto the back of him as they fight it out. Mildred Claessens and Mac van der Merwe still having a good go with one another. But contact between the number 7 and the 118 car, and that is Gerry van Zyl and Jean Mossart, as van Zyl looks up on the inside, late on the brakes, and just clips the side of Jean Mossart under braking, and a second bit of contact coming in from Jean Mossart, loses a bit of ground, catches the back of that Mustang. So definitely a tough time out there. Luke Addison closes up the gap to the likes of Tariq Adam. Bernard Barkhuizen battles with Henry Mayer as they fight their way through. So our top four may have strung it out amongst one another, but how hard have they pushed that they're losing out a bit of time to close up to the sharp end of the field. Fifth place is Dean Norkier. Giovanni Porzio running in sixth as he tries to make up a bit of time. Tariq Adams, along with Luke Addison, still pushing out a little bit more. Paul Fenter getting the pass on Arno, goes side by side, jumps over the curb, and manages to lock himself just ahead of Arno on the way through. So our running order: Tariq Adam, Luke Addison, Bernard Barkhuizen, Henry Mayer, Dean Norkier, along with Giovanni Porzio, Jason Gray, Jude Neville, Ryan Barrington-Smith in 9th. 10th place, Vietia Buerta, followed by Daniel Rowe, Werner Skuman, Paul Fenter on Australia, Mildred Claessens, Mac van der Merwe, Forrest Tarr, Chris Collison, Christoph Peterson running in 19th position, Henry Plutt, Sean Fears, Vessel Woda, along with Henk Petersen, Tristan Herbst in 24th. 25th is Jean Mossart, Gerry van Zyl trying to go around the outside, but we do have a bit of contact with Chris Collison. Unfortunately, stopped off trying to turn the car around, and he had a little bit of a problem. The 22, nearly getting caught out by the 73 on the way through. So let's try and take a look. Who did he have a bit of contact with? That is Chris Burmester in 32nd position. So this was trying to get past Chris. He's got the likes of Peterson on the back of him. Get caught up behind the back markers. Burmester getting caught up, and Peterson nowhere to go. Slight tap on the rear gets him turned around. Unfortunately, it became a very difficult train, and Chris a little bit too slow into the chicane, trying to slow that Mustang down, and a little too slow for the rest of the field. It landed up creating a horrible concertina effect that all couldn't avoid, and the likes of Peterson nowhere to go, landed up just into the back. He locked the anchors, trying to slow the car down. Unfortunately, conditions like this does not go and help for slowing the car down instantly. You slide every time you get onto the brakes, and despite having ABS, these cars are running a little bit lower on the ABS, a little bit lower on the traction control, so the drivers are having to utilize two methods. Throttle control is one, and cadence braking is another. That's when you're standing onto the brake and you creating your own ABS. For those that are looking at, that drive older cars like a Golf Mark 1 and that, you're on the brake, off the brake, on the brake, off the brake. You create your own ABS. ABS works like that, just a little bit faster than the human foot, but it does work nonetheless. And some racers are utilizing that same effect on and off the brakes, just try and get the cars to rotate. Ryan Barrington-Smith onto the back of Jude Neville. Vietia Buerta trying to gain some ground. Werner Skuman and Daniel Rowe fighting it out, still at each other's throats at the moment. Daniel Rowe a little bit ahead of Werner Skuman as they try and push their way through. Paul Fenter breaking away from Australia. Mordred Claessen's onto the back of him, trying to close up the gap as well as they try and make their way through. So some interesting racing at the moment. Unfortunately, a few retirements during the course of this race as well, and that's going to land up with some difficult choices for their championship and some devastating runs for the championship, as we have only got 8 weeks of racing here at RaceFace.Pro for the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Sprint Series powered by PokerBet, and drivers having to really focus on the charge here. Werner Skuman onto the back of Daniel Rowe, trying to hunt for a way to get past. Looking left, looking right, can't get the momentum needed at the moment. In the final 10 minutes of the race, Tariq Adam is a second ahead of Luke Addison. Bernard Barquez in 3.9 seconds, going 4 seconds behind him. Henry May also lost out a bit of time. He's 1.8 seconds. So still lots and lots happening out there on track. Lots of drives trying to be made. Lots of pushes towards the sharp end of the field. And this is the best of the best in the world, folks. This isn't just South Africa's finest. No. I would go as far to say these are the best drivers in the world. And if you don't believe me, I would dare you to all try and get on the track. These conditions, very, very wet, and set the 150s. Constant lap times, not the fastest. That is average 1 minute 50s around the circuit. And that tells a story by itself for all our drivers. Great to see. But Chris Collison once again into the dirt, the double two for the Stinger, going and losing out a bit of time. Was closing up, making a bit of time. Oh, there was contact, and that was a Merc in the way, and it looked like, unfortunately, one of the racing hybrid racings taking a huge devastation effect, going and landing up into the dirt, and that I think may have been Tienes Buerta that got caught out. So there is number 30 getting his way around, and that is Dean DePries, who unfortunately landed up spinning the car, and Chris Biermeister gets away, couldn't quite get it. Oh, turns around, and devastation coming in. Dean catching the likes. Oh, that would have been Tienes Buerta. Was it Tienes Buerta? No, it wasn't. So that had to be another one of the cars. That might have been the 73 of Henk Pieterse. Yes, it was. It was Henk Pieterse that got caught out in that devastating takedown. And definitely the only thing I could hear from that was the immortal words of Mortal Kombat shouting fatality on both cars. Dean DePries unfortunately stuck in the middle of the track, thought it was clear enough to try and get the car turned round, and unfortunately the cars got through the corner a little bit quicker than planned and had a huge impact. Jason Gray going to the inside, defending against Jude Neville. Ryan Barrington-Smith going to also follow Jude Neville on the way through, not going to fight out. Two unlocked cars are going to work together here to try and close up on Jason Gray as quick as possible. On Australia, dealing with Mordred Claessen, who gets unsteady on the throttle, coming out of the final corner, really trying to battle his way back and do everything he can to stay in for the fight. So definitely difficult conditions, difficult circuit, and drivers going and pushing the limits of what they can do, trying to see where they get that climb. Kerry van Sale and Wessel Woda unfortunately coming into blows with one another, with Wessel Woda dropping down behind Kerry van Sale, the young Pandassi driver trying to make his way through. Wessel Woda, part of the Gramadulis Racing in the McLaren, also looking to stand at the top of the order as he makes his way through a good line of drivers fighting their way through, trying to see it to the end. And wherever you look up and down through the field, there's always a constant little fight as Paul Fenter runs out a bit wide. Ono tries to close up that gap. Mordred Claessen's hot onto the heels, constantly nipping at it, trying to figure out where he can get by. It's going to be a difficult time, and I think the main straight is going to be the only key in getting past at the moment with that Lamborghini, especially this late into the race. Tires are starting to drop off. Drivers starting to hit that fatigue level of note here around Barcelona. It is difficult out there. You're fighting the car left and right. You're trying to slow it down. Your concentration is on its limit. You are looking for every finite piece of information on the track to tell you where the limits are, and you're feeling everything through your hands, trying to get the car around the corners, and also working on your braking, working on your acceleration, throttle control. Brake is also going to be a difficult one. Jude Neville actually swapping out with Ryan Barrington-Smith. He had a go at Jason Gray. He didn't get the pass done. Decided he's going to actually swap around and allow his teammate to get into the fight. Jean Verveers onto the back of Henry Platt. Now, Henry Platt was a Team Tryhard driver that moved to Honest Gaming Nitro recently, is now taking up Jean Verveers, who was is currently in the former sister team car of Hybrid Racing. These two have battled it out many, many times in the past and know each other like the back of their hands. They have raced with one another. They have been on a team with one another. Verveers is going to go around the outside, but he has good damage on that car. And unfortunately, it's not going to have the straight line on Henry Platt, who gets turned round, both having contact into turn one. Verveers, unfortunately, couldn't do it. Platt coming across, and that landed up with a big, big smack between them. And let's go to the helicam and try to take a look. Henry Platt tries to come across and thought it was all clear. Unfortunately, didn't have enough. There's the slightest of context, landing up with both cars into the wall. Henry Platt and Verveers needing to get themselves going once again, and both battling on the way through. Closest fight out currently on track is the likes of Ryan Barrington-Smith with Jason Gray just ahead of him. This is 7th and 8th, fighting it out for position in the final 4 minutes and 10 seconds of this race. And Ryan Barrington-Smith not hanging around, looks to try and get elbows out with Jason Gray. Looks for the inside. Jason keeps a defense on the inside line. Goes to the outside. Defends the outside. Ryan Barrington-Smith going to go late on the brakes. It's going to have to be a huge send. Jason Gray side by side. A little bit of side-on contact. Jude Neville getting involved. Oh, a bit of contact between Ryan Barrington-Smith and Jason Gray. Jude Neville gets fouled up, though. He backs out of the fight and decides not to get too involved. But that has allowed Viertier Buerta to rejoin the fray. He's lying just in that top 10 and sees that there is a fight ahead of him and is deciding, listen, it's time to get brawling. It's time to get elbows out as they close down the gap. Werner Skuman and Daniel Rowe still fighting it out, 0.3 of a second between them, and Werner Skuman hunting down that inside line, doing everything he can to try and lift Daniel Rowe off the apex at the moment. Not able to get it all sorted out as Daniel Rowe is just watching his mirrors very, very cautiously at the moment. On keeping ahead of Mordre Klaassen, sees Paul Fenter just ahead of him as they fight their way through. 50 cars still rotating around the track, still trying to keep it going with lots on the cards here. Lots and lots of points on the cards for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series, and all to make up for. But Tariq Adam looking to usurp the championship ahead of Luke Addison, who is 4.5 seconds away, might I add. Luke Addison, unfortunately, miles behind Tariq Adam, and is definitely hurting at this point. Bernard Barkhuizen running in third, Henry Mayer in fourth, Dean Nokia, Giovanni Porzio, Jason Gray just keeping ahead of Ryan Barrington-Smith. Jude Neville deciding he's going to have a go at Ryan Barrington-Smith now. And let's see if it's going to be a swap around for position. Is Jude Neville going to go for the tack? No, he second guesses it. It's going to keep Ryan Barrington-Smith just ahead of him. And now start focusing on the charge as Viertier Buerta joins into the fight, making it a 4-car train as they fight their way through 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, all within a second of one another as they go battling it out, and it's all on the cards. Jason Gray, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jude Neville, Viertier Buerta, the two LNR cars. Jude Neville gets it upset on the rear, and Viertier capitalizes on that, gets the pass done, and now is up into ninth. Quick attack onto Ryan Barrington-Smith, who is going to be alerted. Hey, listen, I've just been overtaken. We got a problem here, as I can no longer defend against it, and we can't go on the attack. So Ryan Barrington-Smith needs to focus. He needs to get right up onto the charge and launch his way to the likes of Jason Gray. He needs to get one final shot with 1 minute to go. Our leader out on the charge looks to try and make his way through. He does see Chris Collison just ahead of him and says, all right, is that Chris Collison, or is that that's another one of the Stinger Racing that is still going around? And that is not Chris Collison. Do apologize. It's one of the Stinger Racing out on track. Tariq Adam, Luke Addison, Bernard Barkhays, and Henry Mayer, Dean Norkier, Giovanni Porzio, along with Jason Gray, who is holding back a train behind him. Ryan Barrington-Smith, Vietia Buerta, June Neville, Daniel Rowe in 11th, Werner Skuman, Paul Fenter, Mordred Glassens, Arno Stradler, Mac van der Merwe, Fars Tar, along with Christoph Peterson, Henry Platt, Jean Verveers, Henk Peterson, Tristan Herbst in 22nd position on his first outing. Gerry van Zyl, Gerrit Bucas, I do apologize, he's a car that's currently out for the Stinger Racing. Vesselwerder, Jean Massart, Tiernis Buerta, Daniel de Villiers, Bego Krobler, and Chris Biermester, slowing way down on the track, is going to land up with the Chromodulis Racing. Tariq Adam is going to get by, not a problem, but it is going to be a problem for Luke Addison, as he's got to try and figure his way around. But we're going to keep a close eye on 8th and 7th, as Jason Gray, Ryan Barrington-Smith, going to give it one more go at one another. Jude Neville, miles behind, has lost the run to Vietia Buerta. And Werner Skuman has got Daniel Rowe firm in sights. Mordred Claessens and Paul Fenter got each other in sights. Christoph Peterson and Fast Tar chasing each other down. And Henry Mayer landing up with a little bit of contact there, trying to make his way through. Dean Norkier getting past Daniel de Villiers, and Giovanni off the back of him, but sliding around in the background. Jason Gray, Ryan Barrington-Smith, going to go side by side with one another. Ryan hoping to go around the outside, goes late on the anchors, slides his way through. Is he going to be able to do it? Jason Gray trying to go elbows to elbows with him, straight lining the two V8s, absolutely brawling the Aston Martin against the Mustang. USA versus UK, and it looks like the UK gets ahead. Ryan Barrington-Smith just ahead of Jason Gray. Vietia Buerta going and having the likes of Jude Neville coming at him, and it looks like it's going to be a clean run through. Jude Neville tries to go for the pass, looks for the undercut. Vietia capitalizing, utilizing all the power, stuck on the outside though, going around a long way, and it does look like it's going to be a drag race. Jude Neville just getting ahead of Vietia Buerta as they come across the line. So the winner goes to Tariq Adam in first place, Luke Addison in second, Bernard Barkhazen takes third, Henry Mayer, Dean Norkier, Giovanni Porzio, along with Ryan Barrington-Smith, Jason Gray, Jude Neville with Vietia Buerta, 0.1 of a second behind, Werner Skuman, Daniel Rowe, Paul Fenter, Mordred Claessens, Arno Stradler, along with Mac van der Merwe losing out to Christoph Peterson across the line. Christoph taking 16th and robbing Mac van der Merwe right at the last. Foster, Henry Platt will come and make his way around the circuit with Verveers trying to close up that gap as quick as he can to go and run it out down to the wire, and it looks like Henry Platt may finish up just ahead of Verveers and done a great job there. Henk Petersen along with Gerry van Zyl, Tristan Herbst is trying to make his way around a little bit slow through the corners, and I think may be out of fuel. Yes, he is. Tristan Herbst has run out of fuel and he needs to cross the line. No way! First time back in a car, Tristan has run out of fuel. He's in first. Go up through the gears. Don't sit in first. You need to go up in the gears. He will never live this one down. He is underfueled in the Audi. For our co-commentator, this is a nightmare. Is he going to be able to get it? Come on, wind, blow the wing, blow the wing. A little bit more. He just needs to cross the line. It's so close, it's nearly there. Just nearly there. He's across the line. Tristan takes 23rd with no fuel in the tank and will never live that one down. Not till the day I die, Tristan. You're never gonna live that one down. Wow, oh wow. Excitement up and down through the field, folks. And what a race it has been for our drivers. And so much has gone on during the course of that race. Absolutely grand racing. Difficult conditions. Pushing the drivers to think out of the box and really risk it for the biscuit. We saw quite a few risky plays, and I think our stewards are going to be a bit busy going and taking a look at it all. But let's take a look to our drivers and see who we can pull in for a quick interview or two here in our interview room. So, as we wait for drivers to join, even let's see if we can possibly get Tristan Herbst to jump into the commentary box as well. I know I'm going to communicate to him that he needs to get himself in for the fight. So let's see if we can get a couple of drivers through as they're climbing out of the cars in these difficult conditions and seeing who they can get in for the fight. I mean, this is going to be a proper run. I have to say, this is going to be a proper great race. And with tomorrow, the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship coming here to Barcelona, 1 hour and 20 minutes of racing. It's going to be a close one for all our drivers, and seeing who's going to be able to stand at the top of the charts on the run through. So it does look like we are battling to get drivers to come through, and we actually do have a couple of drivers coming through right at the last, and let's bring them through. It's going to be our second place driver first, and that is going to be Luke Addison. Luke Addison, welcome to the commentary box. A little bit different to usual. This time, second place. You had a dominating lead for a long time out there, but it looked quite challenging with the Barcelona circuit, considering not long ago, you were actually giving tuition on a dry circuit.
Yo, hello everyone. Yeah, it was quite a hectic lap one. And then, yeah, I just didn't have the pace in the second part. Tariq was a lot faster. He was in a league of his own, and yeah, he just drove away from me.
Well, Luke, it's been an absolutely incredible race, but Barcelona, wet conditions, how was it in the car? What was going on? We can all gather a rather busy car to deal with, but with these conditions, trying to get past back markers, take us through a lap or a bit of an experience of what it feels like to be in the car, these conditions, with a monstrous 35 car grid.
Yeah, the track was a lot drier than expected. So unfortunately, because you don't really know what the track is going to be like, whether it's going to be very slippery, heavier rain conditions in terms of the cars cleaning up the water, I wasn't really too sure, so I kind of went with a neutral setup, which actually was a bit too sketchy in the race. So I was expecting the overall pace and the wet to be more. So the car overall was just a bit too sketchy. But yeah, in general, I just had a lot more drop off in terms of pace, and the car was just too sketchy, and I couldn't really keep up.
Well, still phenomenal effort. Second place is a good thing, but the championship between yourself and Tariq seems to be a rather close one, with Tariq now taking the top spot away from you. What's the game plan heading into tomorrow night for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship? 1 hour and 20 minutes, 2 mandatory pit stops, and now knowing the conditions are going to be a little bit tougher out there.
I think I'm going to have to make 1 or 2 more setups to kind of understand what's actually happening with the rain, and then based off of quali, estimate that the race pace is going to be relatively in and around what quali is. So make a less scary and a more scary setup, so I'm a little bit more prepared in that sense, and then just look after the tires a little bit more in terms of the temperatures.
It's going to be a great one. Well, Luke Addison, before we let you go, And congratulations on your second place. Anything you would like to say to our amazing sponsor, PokerBet, and all our amazing partners joining up with us and being a part of the series, but also our amazing petrol heads. Can you believe it? I'm sure while you're going around the track, you could see all of them in the virtual grandstands, standing with umbrellas and jackets, cheering on as you guys passed your way through for 45 minutes of racing here tonight.
Thank you again to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you to RaceFace, PokerBet, all the sponsors, the commentators, everyone working behind the media room, the stewards, all the drivers, and then well done to Barkes and as well as Tariq, and then everyone chilling in the Discord, as well as thank you to ITB.
Absolutely incredible stuff. And for anyone that's looking to also do it, a bit of a shameless plug here, but we do allow it. For those that are looking to watch Luke Addison in the live stream. Luke, what's your channel's name that guys can go and take a look and get some pro tips from a pro driver?
It is Luke Addison 96 on Twitch or on YouTube.
All right, there we go. Luke Addison 96. Go look it up, hit the subscribe, and let him know that you're here from RaceFace. Luke, thank you very much. We're going to let you go, but we are going to bring in your former teammate, Tariq Adam, to come and have a chat.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Absolutely incredible stuff. And we'll just have to go and shout it out there for our streamers that are on the climb. But let's talk to our winner of the race who waited patiently and then all of a sudden pounced. Tariq Adam. The rain and you seems to be a great combo because you seem to get some favorable positions in these difficult conditions.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would say I'm generally pretty decent in the rain. I do enjoy driving in the rain, so it helps. I also like the track, so the car, this combination is pretty good. So as you can see, like a few of the McLarens are quite strong. Yeah, and otherwise, yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm actually a little bit frustrated because these races always turn out to be a bit harder than they should, like considering the race pace that I know I have. The turn one set me a bit back because I lost the position. Yeah, then having to fight it through Barkes and catch Luke and then actually try and get a move done on Luke was quite difficult.
Now, I've got to ask the question, when did you start realizing that Luke has got a problem? That second half starting to come in because it looked like he was getting away from you. When did you start smelling the blood in the water?
I think I knew from the start of the race that there was a chance of winning. I know my race pace is pretty good. And that my drop-off is generally a little bit less than others. Yeah, but then just the start made it difficult, and when I was in the traffic behind Barkes, I knew I had a lot more pace. I could feel it, like I was setting fastest laps in the dirty air. That was just a sign that I knew I had more pace than Luke out in front in clear. So yeah, I just had to get through the traffic and make the pass.
Well, absolutely phenomenal effort on your side, and great to see that the championship has come alive because now you've overtaken Luke in the championship. What's the game plan heading for the rest of the races, knowing that the championship is, well, separated by one position?
Yeah, I mean, same as every other race, just do the best I can and the points will come.
Oh, absolutely great stuff. And I've got to say a massive, massive well done. Before I let you go and before we let you enjoy the celebrations and champagnes, anything you would like to say to our amazing virtual grandstand? I'm sure as you were going through, seeing the guys standing in the rain, all the gentlemen, the ladies, the kids, everyone out there going and just cheering you guys on and taking some amazing pictures, but also to our amazing sponsors, PokerBet and our associates. Anything you would like to say before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to the sponsors and yourself for putting on the show. Thanks to everyone for watching the stream and the boys in the Discord for always pushing each other and supporting.
There we go. Absolutely incredible stuff. And Tariq, well done once again. Phenomenal work out there. Look forward to seeing what you can do tomorrow night for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Championship.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely incredible stuff. And finally, the last person that is in the commentary room and the last person that has to explain himself because saying, I'm going to go out on the track, I'm going to show what I can do. The manager of Honest Gaming Sim Racing, who goes through all the data of every driver. Tristan Herbst, congratulations on the 23rd. But the fuel light, my friend, are we going to talk about that?
I'd prefer not to. To be honest, it's been a while since I've been in the seat. Yeah, I've been looking at the guys on the back end and stuff, and looking how they've been doing things. But it's a little bit different when you actually hop in the car and drive it around track. So yeah, it was quite a funny one. I actually wasn't even upset about it. Just letting the car roll itself down to the line. I mispredicted the fuel by about 800, about just about 1 liter of fuel, which is quite annoying. But hey, at the end of the day, we managed to get through. Didn't actually have any practice on this car. Just jumped in it as soon as qualifying started. So didn't even know what it was like. I practiced the Beamer and stuff, and then came in on the Audi, which was actually a lot of fun to drive tonight in the rain. Yeah, it was a good race. It was just quite a funny one at the end, and that'll be a staple that hangs onto my name from now on, I guess.
Well, I mean, you've got a first-hand experience out there. Give us an idea of racing with these drivers, the best in the world, I can say, out there. Everyone giving it their all. You, as a commentator, now have the advantage of getting to go door to door with these drivers and seeing exactly what the competition is and how fierce the competition is.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think I'll leave some of the nice and spicy details for tomorrow night's race, the pro and pro-am stuff. Getting to experience the track with these drivers, but some phenomenal racing that you get to see. I mean, the virtual grandstand guys just get to see it from the bird's eye view. When you're actually in the car on this extremely damp surface racing it around track here, you do start to really feel what some of these guys go through. I mean, the amount of incidents that I saw myself in the mid-pack of the grid, I couldn't imagine what it could have been like from the bird's eye view here in the commentary box, because there were multiple guys going off. It's a lot of pressure trying to keep that car stable, especially on such a tire-demanding track with lots and lots of very fast-paced corners that does start to challenge the car. So yeah, it's definitely one thing now, driving with these guys door by door. It's going to give some nice insight to tomorrow night's race, and I definitely suggest the virtual grandstand to come back around for that. But just the word around it is that it's not easy. These guys, I mean, they put in the practice to keep the car stable on track. And yeah, it's a challenge, but these guys show their speed. It's exactly why we call them the best in the world.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us. A big thank you to our sponsors for being a part of it. RaceFace, here at RaceFace.Pro, we got Red Star Raceway, Scallywags Drifting Academy, along with PokerBet, our title sponsor, being a part of the show, and also Extreme Service Center, who I think had the extreme weather going with them. So definitely keep an eye out for them if you want to really get your car sorted out for general service or to handle these conditions, and either works. And make sure that you follow us on all our socials. We'll see you tomorrow night. Massive thank you to you all. Thank you for having me back in the box. I'm not as great as Tristan, that's for certain, on the voice, but I did give it my best tonight, and let's see if I still remember how to do it in my old age. Okay, so let me try it again. It is a thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, and like always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. With all the amazing racing that comes to you weekly, we have to give acknowledgement to our sponsors. Without them, this would not be possible here at RaceFace.Pro. So starting off with our first sponsor, let's go and take your hats off to PokerBet. For all the tournaments, for all the cash games, daily free rolls, and sports betting, there's no better place to be and win with PokerBet. With it all revved up and you're looking for high speed, whether you're into drag, drift, or even long circuit, Red Star Raceway has got you covered. If you're looking to upgrade your car or make sure it's running slick and smooth, go and head over to Extreme Service Center to get you that full mile across the race line, or whether you're going good in the dash. Sliding in to keep you on your toes, Scallywags Drift Academy will keep you right at the top of the pack. And if you're looking for all your streaming needs, head over to Tenvo Tech for all the overlays. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been an honor having you. We'll see you next time right here from the